to use and plant, and we expand. In the sense that you are not giving me that, you are still telling me to go into farming, and you are telling me to reduce my food, my crop price. I cannot, because a bag of fertilizer is 45,000. The chemical I used to buy 5,000 is 15,000 naira today. This mama is selling seed. The one I used to buy 10,000 is about 20,000 today because of the inflation rate. So I cannot bring down the price of my produce. So commercial farming is not for the poor. That technology we are talking about, the poor cannot afford it. So we should tell ourselves the truth. Thank you.
Thank you for that passionate delivery, Mr. Niebert. However, the government, even though represented here by the Honorable Commissioner, the vast majority of our audience are young people that are looking for opportunities within agriculture. What would you then advise them to do?
Well, first of all, you have to seek knowledge. Don't just say we are talking about agriculture. You want to go and plant tomato. You will fail. Seek for knowledge. There are a lot of people here that can cultivate tomato. Go to them. Pay for consultancy. Don't come and tell me you want to learn agriculture for free. You are recharging your phone, subscribing your phone. You have to pay a price for everything. It's a person like me, I pay a price. If you want to learn, come, I will tell you 50,000. You say you have 10,000. I will collect it. So far you pay the price. Go and acquire knowledge first. After acquiring knowledge, you may not have the capital. Still stay with that person. Acquire more knowledge. From there, opportunity can come. You have your own farm. So, whoever that is here that is looking for an opportunity to go into agriculture, go and acquire knowledge, the basic skill first. Otherwise, as we are talking, if you see my farm, you say you like people on social media, my Facebook, whenever they see my farm, they say they want to go into farming. If you come without knowledge, you will fail. Because you don't know what I'm passing through. Keeping light and every other fungal disease away from the farm. So acquire knowledge first before venturing into agriculture.
Please, a round of applause. I love that point. You know, one of my favorite quotes in the Bible, as my secretary will know, is they say, my people perish for what? Lack of knowledge. Know, find out, learn. Thank you very much, Mr. Nibet, for that point. Clinton Farms. As a woman in agriculture, in agribusiness, what would you say is the biggest hurdle that women face in doing agribusiness? I know there is a section we are going to do women in agribusiness, but since we're at this point, is one of the you had to encounter, to be able to succeed in agribusiness.
Thank you very much. All protocols duly observed. The first challenge I experienced being a female farmer is I finished from Covenant University. I was in Lagos, I worked there, and I came back to Delta State. Before I came back to Delta State, I caught a vision from the Bible. God said, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were farmers, and he multiplied their cattle. I was wondering, can I rear cattle? I can't. I remember that back then in the village, people rear chickens, and that was how I got the thought to go into poultry farming. I got to someone I know back there in Ota, and I put a call across. I said, please, I want to come and from you how to run a successful poultry business. I got to his farm. He had his training at Obasanjo Farms, and he started his. So I came in as a staff and not someone that wanted to train or learn. All the members of staff in that farm put me through stage by stage poultry farming enterprise. I came back to Delta State with that knowledge, no funds to start my business. So the first thing I did was I started attending poultry meetings. When I get there, when others are introducing themselves, I'll tell them, I'm an intending poultry farmer. And they'll say, which one is intending poultry farmer? It was quite embarrassing. 11 years ago, I've been in the agricultural space for 11 years now. It was embarrassing then as a graduate to say you want to go into farming. You should be ashamed of yourself. And when I tell my friends, my colleagues, I'm a poultry farmer, they say, yeah, no work to do. Oh, I noticed that something was wrong. I had to tell people that I will make agriculture look fanciful. I will make you see me and want to go into agriculture. I had to challenge that narrative. Trust me, I went through hurdles. I came back without funds, so I was running around for loans. I collected as much as 5 loans, and I started really big. Actually, I started with 100 beds, and I grew to 2,000 beds. And at that point, I started jumping from one government agency to the other. I tend to hear you say the government are ignorant about agriculture, the government does not want to fund agriculture. It's a big lie. I am government funded. My state government has funded me. The federal government has funded my enterprise. And we need to clap for the government. Now, visibility is the issue. The government will not come to you. You need to go to the government. You need to be visible. Some of us are just on our farms doing something small and we're relaxed. You know, I needed my classmates to know that I'm successful. So I had to do something big. I was running around telling the government, I need you to train youths. I need you to bring up all that, the next generation of youths that will take over from us. And why? Because I brought that thought, the government appointed me to look for youths that will be trained and empowered. In Delta State, the last administration I worked for 8 years, we did a program, processing support program. We bring youths that are in agriculture, give them birds, give them feeds, and give them money to buy vaccines. So please, I am government-sponsored. I say that everywhere I go. You don't have to wait to the government for the government to come and look for you. Go and meet the government. Why did I join our association, Poultry Association of Nigeria? I noticed that when I wanted to carry out that exercise, I was going from farm to farm. So what I needed to do was join the association. When I speak to the government, please, you need to empower youths. I already know the members who are actual poultry farmers. My brothers and sisters, let me tell you this. We carried out a verification exercise a few months back. When I got to people's farms, I was crying. Somebody was a CEO of his farm, but today he's packing poultry droppings from somebody else's farm as a means of survival. Somebody that was once a CEO. In fact, when I got there, when he was telling his story, I was crying. I know that this is a time to reach out to government, come and help us. I've been anointed with the seal of exemption. People are crying, there's hunger, I am not feeling it, God is helping me. But I need to reach out to others who are not opportuned to have or been exposed to the opportunities I've been exposed to. Gone are the days when I'm ashamed to tell you I'm a poultry farmer. Today I say it with pride. I am a poultry farmer and I'll remain a poultry farmer. When my colleagues call me, are you still doing that business? And guess my response, for life. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Manuela, and that's quite inspirational. I think you've underscored a very, very important point that the SecGen made this morning. If you really want to go far, you should go how? Members, you should go to... The fact that she actually aligned herself with the Poultry Association is a big selling point. Don't stay in one place on your own. You are likely not going to go far. Network, meet people, engage, move forward. Thank you very much for that. Sir. Mr. Clement, sir, as someone who has been in this space for a while, and taking from the point that Manuela made about government supporting agriculture and agribusiness, do you feel like the policy environment now is favorable to women and youth to actually thrive in agriculture? If yes, give us some examples. What policies exist right now that would support these young men and women that are intending or already in agribusiness to thrive in agriculture?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me congratulate the Akwa Ibom State government. The commissioner is right here. You can check the records. I have done my check. For the past 10 years, the only state that has budgeted, made sectoral budgets up to 5% is Akwa Ibom State government, higher than the federal government of Nigeria. I say that on good authority. You can check your records. Now, talking about policy environment, honestly, sometimes when they say there is no access to credits, 10 of the most capitalized banks in Nigeria currently are headed by women. You heard me. 10. But no bank gives loan to individual families. My job in Life ND has been to form agricultural cooperatives that are primary in nature, where 5 persons at the beginning are put into the same value chain. We call them enterprise group. Known as the Commodity Apex Development Association. The policy environment in Nigeria are very favorable. It needs the farmers to have strong cooperative organization to access. I'm going to explain some of them. Life ND is a project of the United from a $60 million loan and also supported by the respective participating governments. Under or gender balance. For every enterprise, if we are taking 10 people, I've also gone as far as forming women in agriculture. And in Delta State, these women groups are meeting communities who are now giving them activities. So if you look at the national gender policy, you look at the youth policy, they all to become whatever they want to become. They must be organized. Until you have a farmer organization that is organized within the community, then you've not started. And so if farmers are not organized, therefore means that that becomes an opportunity. Some people have attested to the fact that you cannot just go into agriculture. I have to advise the youth that are here. Please form yourself into group and ensure you acquire knowledge. Do what we call SWOT analysis. Check your strength, what advantage you have in your location. What are the likely weaknesses you're going to face? What are the opportunities that are there and what are the threats? I'm going to mention some opportunity and I'll see go back to the representative of government. Honorable Commissioner, sir, the beautiful greenhouses lining the airport is an opportunity. And unless it is privatized and given to the teeming youth of Akwa Ibom to produce exotic breeds of vegetable, then that investment may not have given the right returns. There are not less than 12 hectares of land with greenhouse that can support vegetable. I was on Ethiopian airline while I was coming back from Ethiopia. When I was given tomato juice to drink, I drank it with respect. Because you cannot find juice, tomato here to do stew, talk less of drinking it as juice. So when I look at it, they don't know what they're giving to me. Because this is a costly product in my environment. So sir, the number of youths that can be employed if the greenhouses lining the airport is and I work for privatization. Because after the 2023 World Food Summit in Rome, the emphasis has been on private sector participation. As long as government or government-related person is manning those infrastructure, we are not going to get anything. But the moment we bring in a private sector, pick teeming youths in this hall that are here, and they produce varieties of tomatoes. In fact, the reverse will be exporting tomatoes to the north. Now, there are several policies, just like he said. There's what is called ease of doing business. Some time ago, the federal government gave a free registration window to small, medium, and micro enterprises in Nigeria. Unfortunately, DG, the youths in agriculture did not know. That again is another opportunity. You see, we're watching a video, we're watching a drama here. That drama, what we teach in agriculture in technology transfer, it is called result demonstration. There are many ways of sending extension messages. The result demonstration is where you show a superior result of an innovation over the existing practice of the farmer, and he or she immediately accepts it. We used to call it small plot adoption technique, but now we call it management plot adoption technique. Why the difference? The small plot adoption technique looked like a classroom thing, where it looks very small. But later on, after a review of this technology transfer, it was agreed that if we make the size of the farm much bigger than the small plot, after harvesting we sell and give the farmer the money, they will believe it more. They would not think it's an experiment. So opportunities exist for young people to look at, because there are so very many agricultural value chains in Nigeria. In Life ND, we are promoting 7, and we use commodity of comparative advantage. All across the Niger Delta, there's cassava, there's rice in Cross River, rice in Edo, rice in part of Abia. There's all palm in Abia State. So based on our comparative advantage, we promote. So as a youth that want to go into agriculture, check in your environment. What is it that is not there that I can go into? And just like Mr. Niebiet said, be ready to learn. We studied agriculture for 5 years, and we took another compulsory course known as strike for 2 years, making it 7. At the end of the day, we use 7 years to have a first degree. So much is there. But let me mention something that is striking. We don't have data in Nigeria. Whether you're looking at the youth policy, whether you're looking at gender policy, whether you're looking at policy around technology, because my project have climate smart agriculture manual, can make it available to the DG. There are several manuals that we have that can teach you agriculture, that can make you understand. But you must be willing to be patient. You must be patient and willing. The opportunities are endless. Even if you don't know anything about agriculture, you have a tricycle. Decorate the tricycle, write the eggs on board, fragile. Go to farmers that are doing egg. Get to know who is buying egg from them. Know when the last crate of egg will finish. Go to the farm, create demand. That's what we call demand creation. Let the people who may not know what they need, let them know what they need. Put in their head. By the time you start transporting egg from one family to the other, you might even make more money than even the farmer. So the marketers make a lot of money. So when you look at the entire value chain, which my projects are unbundled, the opportunity is endless. Yeah. Finally, Dr. Adeshino, current President, African Development Bank, visited Kenya, which I was also privileged to visit on a training on sensitive agriculture, nutrition-wise. He saw that the horticulture industry alone employed 7 million persons. I can assure you that in Akwa Ibom State, the horticulture industry alone can employ not less than 1.5 million if we fully tap using private sector engagement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clement. Just to, tidy up, I picked up a few things and I hope some of you have. The greenhouses along the airport route, he is quite knowledgeable about them. The Commissioner for Trade and Investment is here. Young people, he talked about cooperative formation. Manuela talked about being in an association. I hope we are putting the pieces together. We will have an opportunity for you guys to ask additional questions, to the panelists. But let me just do one more round of questions, to... Okay. Yeah, if it's up for it, fine. We'll do another round. Starting with you, Emiobere. Still back to the point of beyond the farm gate. In terms of accessing finance for your business, please tell us how you did it. Did you follow through? Did you raise capital on your own? Did you get capital from the bank? Were you funded by friends and family? What's the current trend now for a young businessman or woman to actually be able to finance his or her private business in agriculture?
Okay, thank you. So I don't know if I would say I'm proud to say, but I'm not proud because when you build a business to an extent, you have to use what we call OPM. Other people it can come from loans, it can come from grant and different places from the bank. So we a bank loan to what we are doing. And I would also say that the bank loan thing seems to be it looks very interesting. When the bankers are marketing themselves, it looks very, very interesting and you just want to assess it, but it doesn't just come easy that way. And so for who I am and what we've been doing so far, it's a journey of starting small. So I bettered Afrotropic, and it has been a business, a journey of starting small. And of course, knowledge is power, knowledge is money. So projects comes in with the projects a lot. So if you have the resource of knowledge, and you move into somewhere and you said you are doing this, or you approach the government, you approach individuals, when you offer value, exchange for money. Just need to have the money for your skills. So your skills can bring money to your table. And as long as those skills bring money to your table, you can multiply that. Talking about projects, we are currently rounding up a project of greenhouses for Delta State. 120 units of greenhouses for Delta State. And if that's a whole lot. We, though currently greenhouses per unit are in millions, and you can imagine 120 units for the state. That's what we did. So that's a project that brings in money to the table. You can run with your money. And another project is, we did a project for Life India as well. I'm proud to say that for Delta State too, which is Homestead Garden, where it was up to 10 local governments. We rendered the services to training farmers on how to grow these vegetables, horticulture, like he mentioned. If you look at it, most of the agri-farming production that really employs women and youth is the horticultural sector, because it's more of it has more commodities. If you look at what it has more commodities, it employs more people. So talking about also what makes resources available for women and youth too, sometimes you may not have the finance to start, but she's mentioned, which I really put a thumbs up, is making yourself visible. You have to be out there. So the government will preach, and we, as through our charity and our foundation, is also preaching. And we've engaged women. Recently, we flagged off 6.5 million seedlings distribution to farmers for free. And we started this across the South states to do this. So farmers are getting this for free and growing vegetables. So if you are looking at getting money first to start something, I wouldn't really say it's a beginning, but the finances are needed. You can start small to do something, and of course your knowledge and whatever you're doing will keep bringing in, multiplying. And one thing I would say is the true collaboration and partnership is the key to true success. Collaborate with people. If you don't have the finance, another person will have the finance. With your knowledge, you can partner and do something. So if you put up collaboration, that is also a means of how you can get finance and keep going. So I would say that with the government, you can do a lot. You can stay away from the government. You have to be friends. You need to partner with the government to do something. So imagine Delta State government didn't give us a project. We won't have that. So you can't be apart from the government. Now also federal government. We have done a project for federal government as well under the Presidential Amnesty Program, training ex-militants. So it's partnership is with the government, is with private entity, and from there you keep raising in funds, you keep getting money, and you have your own business, you've grown, and the bank will come after you when you make money, because success has force of attraction. Yeah. The bank will only come to you when you have money. Banks don't go to people that doesn't have money in their banks or in their purse.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Some very good gems there. Your knowledge in exchange for money. Financing doesn't necessarily always mean money. Partnerships, public, private, those are all some good gems. Thank you very, very much. Mr. Niebet, your point around seeking knowledge has been a mainstream here in all the conversation. What other sources of knowledge, beyond the documents that will be provided by Mr. Clement, beyond contacts and partnerships that we ought to have, what other sources of knowledge do you think young people should quickly adapt themselves to?
Before I answer that question, Doctor talk about my state, the budget of my state for agriculture. I am in support of the governor and I like all what he has been doing. But budget is not the same as release and implementation. So our governor may budget 25% for the agri sector and he releases 5%. And implementation, who is implementing this budget? If a doctor can be a commissioner for health, a barrister, attorney general of the state, and commissioner for justice, a position for agri commissioner should be to a farmer who wears the shoe. Because the governor may release the budget. And if a commissioner is a politician, he will divert it to political group members. I am a politician as well. For example, now, the government will say they are distributing fertilizers to farmers. As a politician, I have a political group members. I will use it as a form of settlement. I know that if I give you 50 bucks or 20 bucks, you will go and sell at 25,000 naira each. You won't come and disturb me again. But if that position is given to a commissioner for agri who owns a farm and know what it means for a farmer to benefit 5 packs of fertilizer, he will distribute it to the right farmers. So budget, release, implementation, very important. There is no other way that you can acquire this knowledge than partnership. We have many people here are farmers, they own farms. There are some things you don't know, you don't understand. Get to someone that knows better. I am the chairman Commercial Farmers Association. At times, some of my group members will come and ask me, what is that? And I know some. Even now, I'm still learning as well. Being 6 years in the business. And I will call someone that even knows better than me. Okay, what is this? After telling me that, I will still research to know the permanent cure for that. And there are things that doesn't have cure. So if you know that the knowledge, the idea will fall from heaven into your head, it's a lie. Collaborate. Partner with people. For some of us who may not have privilege to have the government support, because I've been farming for over 6 years in my state. I am known in Akwa Ibom. I have never for once received a bag of fertilizer until last week when my senator called me and I was given 5 bags of urea. I went and posted it. That is a record-breaking event. Because this thing has been going to people who are not farmers and they will call me to come and buy. If you call me to come and buy, I will price you for the 5,000 fertilizer, 5,000. One of our farmers is here now. Even that day that the fertilizer was given to people, people right inside there will ask me if I will buy. Even when they tell them that this fertilizer is for the 5,000, go and use. They ask me, will you buy? I say 5,000. I will buy. They get that and leave. I will not buy. Instead of that, I will go to agro shop and buy 45,000. Because why should you come and collect what was meant for farmers? You should decline and say, I'm not a farmer. Let this thing go to another person. So as farmers, let us collaborate and share knowledge. But if you know that you don't have any knowledge, don't come to me and say you want to collaborate. I will collect you money before I give you any knowledge. That is it. Thank you, sir. And you know that, let me just add something. You know, these are lecturers. To me, I have my own definition of agriculture as a neighbor Antia and as Antia's farm. And I define agriculture as a shaking of hand with nature for the benefit of mankind. So when we shake our hand with nature, our hands will be dirty. At the end, the mankind will enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emanuela, so over to you now. It's good that you've had some good experiences with government and the interventions that have followed. So how can this relationship now benefit our audience here? So specifically, how can the government and the private sector, represented by our women and youths here, collaborate even better? When you talk about be more visible, right? Put yourself out there. The simple question as a young person that I will ask is how? How do I do that? Leaving this conference now, what is the best way to make myself more visible so that I'm able to take advantage of some of these opportunities that government has?
Thank you very much. To answer your question, first of all, nobody will help you if you are not good at what you do. So first of all, become good at what you do. Government is smart. When you come to them, they will ask you intelligent questions. Before you say a word or two, they would have placed you. For instance, I went to National Directorate of Employment at Abuja. And one, always know when you need help. I needed help at that point, so I ran to their office at Abuja. I sat patiently. I wanted to see the DG. And when they gave me audience to meet him, I said, sir, I need funds. I've been in business for 4 years now. I need funds to upscale what I'm doing at the moment. I keep telling people that poultry is a very enterprising, is a very successful business. I have to look it while saying it. And this man turned. He said, where did you come from? I said, Delta State. He said, why didn't you look for funds in Delta State? I said, sir, any loan you want to mention in Delta State, I've collected it. So if I go to meet them, they'll say, you don't need money. That's why I came to Abuja to look for money. And he said, present your proposal. And he wrote approved on that proposal. I got the funds in millions. I ran to the government. Be smart. They will ask you questions. Just know and be good at what you do first before you reach out to the government. That's one. Two, just last month, National Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, they put out a post that they wanted to train youths in agriculture. We were gathered, 200 of us, who were trained, and at the end of the day, we were giving funds. If not for that funds, I won't be smiling today. You don't understand what I said, right? I said, if not for the injection of that fund from NDDC, I will not be smiling today. When I started poultry farming, a bag of feed was 1,700. Today, I bought for 26,000 naira. How much are we selling these birds at the end of the day? So you can see, before you reach out to the government, be good at what you do. That's the second option. I mentioned NDDE, I mentioned NDDC, and now, back to my state, there's Job Creation Office. They'll bring out youths that are, of course, practicing youths in agriculture. They will give you beds, feeds, and funds. So you can see the aspect of government. You have to be visible. You have to go to them. Of course, it's not going to be easy, but don't relax. Like I would say, if you go to them, be persistent. And at a point, you will get what you are looking for. Do we get that? So you have to reach out to the government. Be visible. When I mean visible, talk, open your mouth. As I am here, before I leave here, I'm going to get the commissioner's number before I leave here, and I'll plan a proposal that I'll give to him for his state. I'm doing that in my state. I was opportune to attend the second Nigerian Poultry Summit at Abuja last year. When I got there, the minister was telling us that they have plans. They roll out programs that ordinarily farmers should get. But at the end of the day, it gets to people that are not farmers. No fault of his. Now, there's a gap. Go to him. Tell him that we know the actual farmers. And of course, they must be actual farmers. No actual farmer will get inputs. For instance, a poultry farmer, you get fees and you sell it off. No farmer will do that, I can assure you. So first of all, you have to know these actual poultry farmers before you reach out to the government to grant help or assistance. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now to you, lastly, Mr. Clement. I want to go a bit technical now for you. Climate smart agriculture, you mentioned it earlier. How can our young people here do climate smart agriculture with a view to making money?
Okay, please, let me do a few clarifications based on what Anibia said. I guess this is a discussion. Let me make a few clarifications. In 2023, December precisely, I was in Ivory Coast. One of the things I learned there was the strength of farmers' organization. There's no government that knows everything. So if there is a situation where farm inputs go to people who are not farmers, I blame the farmers. The government cannot know everything. Let me say this. Let me come. You should be able, you should be able to organize yourself to a point where it will be difficult for somebody who is not a farmer to get input. If they want to give input to their people, they give. I'm saying that because I am aware that when there was a subsidy assistance, the government of Akwa Ibom said, landed the input in the village and asked the village head and community leaders to share. So it is possible for farmers' organization to hold the government. This lady was talking about being visible. Being visible. You don't just sit down. It's a struggle. Organize yourself as farmers group. Let the government know. Make noise that the people that are getting input are not farmers. Create problem. Are we together? It's not a joke. If you're a farmer and you know, help the government to do what they're supposed to do. That's number one. Number two, a farmer made Commissioner of Agriculture. By that it means I'm qualified because I'm also a farmer. It is not lecturers only. For one to go and study and teach others means he has gone through the process. I own a farm. Currently, I'm farming 2 hectares of cassava. I've asked the DG to come. If you come, they tell you the don't believe me anymore. You're going to see over 400 stands of oil palm. What am I doing? Sustainable land management. I cannot wait for oil palm to grow, to give me yield after 4 years. So every year in the last 5 years, I've been growing cassava. That's a form of climate smart. I'm trying to roll into what you're saying. But let me go back again. Until government does what was agreed, there was what was called the Maputo Declaration. In 2003, African Union agreed that countries should commit 10% of their budget to agriculture if the sector must grow by 6 to 10%. So tell me, how can you get something you have not? That the money from subsidy should be channeled to agriculture, since we are now having hunger in the land. That will stimulate the growth of farming. That's number one. In 2014, the same thing still happened. Now, going back to climate smart agriculture, I have had reported cases where there was heat wave in Abia State. Heat wave is a situation where the temperature changes and suddenly a hot column of air blows across. If you are not aware that such thing happens, if it blows across your poultry farm, all the birds will die. And so you need equipment to have that you can make you spray water on the bed if you notice heat wave. I learned it from a farmer in Abia State. So climate smart agriculture is being able to understand the workings of the climate and the extremes of weather. In fact, you even need to get daily weather prediction. And that again is another form of opportunity. We are saying that farmers' organizations are not strong. It's possible to position yourself in the midst of farmers, help them to keep record. Farmers all over Nigeria don't keep farm records. And so nobody will give you loan when you don't have a record of what you have been doing. From the first day I harvested 4 bunches of oil palm till today, I have records. Four bunches was the first one. Later on, 8, 12, I got 32 and down the line. If you don't have a farm record, even the climate smart agriculture we are talking about will not happen, because the record helps you to know what is going on in the farm. So in climate smart agriculture, what the youth should do, our phones now are very smart. It can give you weather condition. If you have moisture content of up to, relative humidity of up to 90%, there's a likelihood that it can rain. You don't need to ask anybody. So don't go to the farm to apply fertilizer that day or apply pesticide because it's going to be wasted. It happened to me. The day I did the spraying, there was a heavy rainfall. I now ask myself, all this school I'm going, that means I'm not applying this knowledge of school. Now, if you are living in an area where there is flooding, you need to plant cassava early enough so that you harvest it before the flood comes. That is climate smart. But more importantly, there are about 8 species of maize, for instance, which are drought resistant. If you plant them, they can withstand hard weather. And when you have good quality seed, which is high yielding and have a shorter gestation period, you can manipulate the time the environment is changing and still make money while remaining as an agriculturist or farmer, as it were. We talk about resilience, ability to withstand. So as you study the weather, you study the climate, extreme climate element that cause problem in a community, you will be able to manipulate what you are doing. There are cassavas that within 8 months you can harvest them. But more importantly, as a youth going into agriculture, don't go for long gestation crops. Go for short cycle. I'm planning to do vegetable. Every 12 to 14 days, you harvest. If you are doing something like an orange flesh sweet potato, 4 months. If you are doing ginger or turmeric, You can do it 4 months. But before you go in, look for an off-taker. Look for who will buy. What to produce, whom to produce, and how to produce must be the question you ask yourself. So climate change, smart agriculture is a changing stuff. I will give the manual I have to the DG. If you have registered within this conference, you're going to see something that time has been taken to really sit down to do it. But let me also say this. For some of us in this area of Niger Delta, from Cross River down to Delta, there used to be some cocoyam that grew in the swamp. Do we remember? Today, cocoyam blight has dealt a blow on it. I wish there was an organization within Nigeria government that will help us to have species that will withstand cocoyam blight. That cocoyam was so good. And you know, it's better for diabetics. It's better than cassava sometimes. But the ravaging disease started from Cross River down to Bayelsa. You cannot see that anymore. So we need to now replace cocoyam with other crops. That is part of the climate smart. Because the cocoyam blight has grown because the element of weather has favored its growth. So we need to look for ways to have resistant variety of cocoyam and other crops to combine. But most importantly, crop diversification is very important. Don't crop one type of crop as much as possible. Diversify, look at the weather, look at weather condition, look at your advantage, look at your disadvantage, look at the environment, look at other competitors. Then you take a decision. You would have been able to survive the adverse effects of climate change.
Please, a round of applause for our panelists. I'm able to take just 2 questions, one male and one female preferably, so that we can get response and move to the next item. Let's start with a female. Do we have a female that has a question? Yes. Very quickly, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Udwago Fortrubun, the CEO of Udwaga Basi Farm. My question is, how can this group help me to harvest 17,000 stand of sweet corn, 17,000 stand of cucumber, and 10,000 stand of okra in my farm now when the rain stops because there is no drip irrigation? Thank you.
Okay. Which group are we talking about?
This is actually directed to NABG and not the panelists. The question is, how can you help me to harvest 17,000 of sweet corn, the same 17,000 of stands of cucumber, and also 10,000 stands of okra in her farm when the rain stops? Because this is her fear. The plants are only 1 month.
Okay. I don't know. Sekjen, do you want to answer this or should I? I should go ahead. Okay. So first of all, the Nigeria Agribusiness Group, if you were here in the morning as I explained, is a policy advocacy organization. We do reforms and policy advocacy. We are not producers. As an organization, we're a platform of agribusinesses. So we cannot come to your farm and help you harvest. But I think that is a strong point, as mentioned by Clement here, one of his last points. No, I really don't need you to answer. Maybe you can do this offline. But if the question is, how can the NABG come and harvest for you in your farm? She's asking for off-takers? No, she said harvest. Is that not the word?
All right, she's rephrased it. Okay, not written here. Harvesting, is it drip irrigation?
Okay. All right.
Can it be rephrased? All right. Can you rephrase it? Can you help her rephrase it? So what?
Or better yet, in the interest of time, are we able to have this conversation offline so that we can better help?
Yes, we can have it offline.
Yes,
we can have it offline. Ali is attending to her.
Let's have other people who have specific questions for the panelists.
All right.
And then we can discuss this on its own. Yes.
Okay.
The individual.
The gentleman here. All right.
Thank you, sir. My name is Ayo Francis, the founder of Chief Farmer, and agribusiness consulting firm. I work with farmers and other entrepreneurs. Mine is not a direct question, but I want to draw attention of the youth and everyone here that is particular about access to funds. As a BDSP, I've noticed something really common in the South-South region, and that was why I came back. Most of us do something small at a comfortable rate, and that is one of the biggest problems you have as a business person. Now, before you even talk of funds, your business or your farm should have a vision. So the first question I normally ask my client once they call me that, what you are doing, what is the aim of it? That being said, before you talk of accessing funds, whether from the government, the private sector, the bank, your family and friends, you should know that no money is free. And as such, you should have a bankable plan, first of all. You need to prove to the person how that money is going to be utilized and make returns before you're going to be funded. So before you even talk of having funds or accessing funds, you should be able to have a vision, number one, and number two, have a bankable plan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Can we
have
give the young lady
question?
Here,
okay,
who will round it up for us?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rona Peters, CEO Ochwono Nicholona Livestock Farm and Academy Limited, and the coordinator at Edo State Licensed Exporters Association. I want to, when you were talking, you spoke on association, Farmers Association. I want to ask you, what do you do with associations where the head does not even have a farm pertaining to that crop? How do you handle it? Because that, I'm coming, sir, that is a scenario where you see somebody heads an association, you don't even have a farm. I've noticed that in a program, head of rubber association, you don't even have rubber plantation. So I was saying, how do you know the challenges of the farmer? You are not a practical person. That's number one. Then we have another federal FACAM, Federal Agricultural Commodity Association of Nigeria. And they came to Edo and told us about sesame. They had a program, involved government, and they gathered both farmers and intending farmers for sesame. We had a demo farm. They went to acquire land, telling government something different, that they would plant the sesame, soya beans, and the groundnuts and give farmers seed. But at the end, they engaged in crowdfunding. Now they cannot account for the money. The farmers are shouting. Meanwhile, you have boys from Nasarawa and Benue that came into Edo as farm workers, and they taught Edo people in Edo North and Edo Central how to plant sesame. That sesame seed, I planted it in my demo farm, harvested few of it. I said, okay, if we look at the weather, this thing can fly. But today now, we are going to EFCC to go and recover money. So all those farmers association, I want to know, how do you investigate them to know the one that is genuine, that we actually go back both to the urban and rural areas to help the farmers?
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much,
ma'am.
That is directed at me. But if you have an association where the head does not have a farm, it's a group of scammers who are using agriculture as their cover or camouflage. In Life ND, we form people into the same value chain. You cannot claim, this is part of what the problem government is facing. Some people are getting money from government when they are not farmers. So that is why I said farmers should organize themselves and point at those who are fake, because they are taking what belongs to you to themselves. At the end, government will say they have budgeted, like Nebiat was saying. Yes, budgeting could be 5%, but the release may not be 100%. Of course, budget is a proposal of income and expenditure. So if it's favorable for the government, they can do 70, 60%. But if it's not favorable, there's nothing they can do. So when you go to an association and the man does not know anything about farming, know that somebody is planting him there, please run. Leave that association, because you are going to be a principal with it as the EFCC. Someday, they will be cut off. We have hunger in the land. We should not play politics with hunger. I don't know whether we know that we are supposed to have statistics of people who die because of hunger. As at the time I was doing my study, they were saying 930 million people worldwide. Today, it's more than that. India's reached 1 billion population. When they had climate change issue, People wanted to give them food. They said they don't want. They will feed themselves. Now, why are we having high cost of bread? Ukraine and Russia, they are fighting. So the wheat that comes from there is not coming. What is wrong with our hands? Can't we plant wheat? Can't we use other things? Operation just started inclusion of cassava into bread. Can't we do what we have? We still want to import. So when you see a association of people who are faking as farmers, please point them out. This lady said you must speak out. They are deceiving the government. Government cannot know everything. Let them be seen as a list of people who are not the real farmers, so that what you need will come to you. I don't know whether I've made my point clear. And they will go to what do you call it, Corporate Affairs Commission to register.
I'm giving you 30 seconds. I need
okay.
Please.
Sir, government can know everything. In as well that government have polling agents in every unit during election. It means that government can dedicate people that can point out fake farmers. They can know everything.
Yeah? There's no time. There's no time.
So the farmers should point out fake farmers who are not farmers.
Thank you very much. This has been quite a heated session. We have other panel discussions. Please save your questions for those. They're all interlinked. If we stay on this stage, we will reach with questions. So please join me in thanking our... time has gone, unfortunately. Join me in thanking our panelists, Mr. Clement, Manuela, Aniebe, Etom, thank you very much. Where's our photographer? Come and take us one picture here. I hope you enjoyed this session, and even though it was heated, I hope you picked out a few gems that would work for you ultimately. Thank you very much, and I hope to see the same level of energy during the next sessions. It was a pleasure, and good afternoon.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that that was a power-packed, insightful, very educative session. Please put your hands together for every single person on that panel, for giving us very heated for and against government, for also agriculture, support of agriculture, and different ways for us to move the ecosystem. Please celebrate them again as they come down. Put your hands together for them. Thank you so much, our own Aniebet Antai, the beautiful ladies on the panel, and Dr. Clement, and our own DG. Thank you so much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are moving forward with our second panel session. I totally understand that we still have some questions for our panelists. Feel free, they are all accessible after now, please. So they would continue in the program. After now, you can reach them to ask other personal questions to help boost your personal farms and your interest in the agri-ecosystem. At this point, we would also thank the commissioner because obviously he wants to...
We're switching, we're going to do the award ceremony. Where's Amra? Yes, Amra.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there was a switch in transmission, and we are going to reboot. We are going to reboot and refire and move on today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not only here to talk. We are also here to appreciate all those in the South region who have done very well. We understand that as long as you are here, you have done well for your little farm, but we would just need to appreciate others who have also done well. Please, do we have Amra close by? We need to do the award sessions. Yes. So we would give awards for the following people, and we have a profile. All right, please don't kill the sound completely. You can just give us a background noise, music, as we get ready for our awards session.
My people, say you be farmer, or you dey do livestock business, or maybe you dey transport crops from farm to market, or you even get warehouse where you dey store farm produce. Abi, you follow join all these technology people. Better news don land.
Who are we calling first?
We also have the most impactful agripreneur, the Regional Agribusiness Impact Awards, Agribusiness Mentor, then the Youth Agripreneur of the Year, and the Climate Smart Agriculture Advocate, and the last on that list is Agribusiness Development Award. To help us give out the awards, please, we would love to invite the Honorable Commissioner for Trade and Investment, Dr. Eton. Please come forward to help us give out the awards. So, sir, you would take the center stage. Yes, feel free to go there. And for the best female in agribusiness, please put your hands together and welcome Precious Itolima for the award. Please welcome Precious Itolima, best female in agribusiness. Precious Itolima.
Precious, it's my pleasure to present this award to you on behalf of this great organization, the Nigerian Agribusiness Group. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right. The most impactful agripreneur, we have Dr. Aniefiok Iton. Please welcome Dr. Aniefiok Iton. She's receiving the most impactful agripreneur.
Dr. Iton, it is my pleasure to deliver this very notable award to you as the most impactful agripreneur today. Congratulations.
Congratulations, ma'am. And the Regional Agribusiness Impact Award goes to Ibieni Eni Yekpemi. Ibieni Eni Yekpemi. Please put your hands together for the colorful and beautiful woman as she comes forward.
Hello, Ibiani, Ebimombere, Eni Yepemi.
Yes.
It is my pleasure to hand over this award from this very august group to you as the Regional Agribusiness Impact Award. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you and congratulations. Please put your hands together for Honorable Commissioner. Thank you so much for helping us with that smooth award proceedings. Please. Please would like to invite the DG of NABG, the Secretary General of NABG, please, to come help us for the next awards. Please welcome Mrs. Ulubukola Nwaneri. All right. The next award for Agribusiness Mentor goes to no other person than Josephine Peters. Please welcome Josephine Peters. She's receiving the award for Agribusiness Mentor. Josephine Peters. Please put your hands together for her. This is a South-South recognition.
Madam Josephine, congratulations, and I will urge the youths in the room who are in need of mentors in agribusiness to please come to her. Congratulations.
Congratulations, ma'am.
This to all the farmers in livestock.
To all the farmers in livestock, she's dedicated the awards to you. All right, following immediately the Youth Agripreneur of the Year, we have here Oluwa Ernest Eze, the Youth Agripreneur of the Year. Please celebrate Oluwa Ernest Eze as he comes forward to collect this award for the Youth Agripreneur of the Year. This is the South-South recognition by the Nigeria Agribusiness Group.
Congratulations, Ernest. This is a sound testament that our youth can do it. Congratulations.
Congratulations, sir. And thank you so much, Madam Sekjen, for this very smooth transition in this awards category. Thank you, ma. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to give the very last award, we will need here the DG of NABG of Mr. Jafar Umar to please come forward to help us give the very last award. The last category is Agribusiness Development Award. Agribusiness Development Award. Ladies and gentlemen, we really need to thank the NABG because they are moving around every single part of the spectrum to celebrate them. To receive this award is IFAD. Do we have the representative of IFAD here? Dr. Clement. Please celebrate Dr. Clement as he comes to collect the award for IFAD. They are being awarded the Agribusiness Development Award. Congratulations. Still remain on stage. Please, all the awardees, can you come with your awards? Just come forward. All the awardees, come with your awards, please. Please, yes, we need to take a group photograph with your awards. Please, Precious Itolima, Dr. Aniefiokitan, Ibieni Eni Yekpemi, Josephine Peters, Olua Ernest Eze, IFAD. Would also love the awardees to join them, and I'm referring to the Honorable Commissioner and our SecGen. Please come and join us on stage. Let's take a group photograph. It's not easy being recognized in your home, not to talk of being recognized in a region. Among 6 states, and these people have been noticed to be recognized among 6 states in the South-South region. Congratulations to the winners, and thank you NABG for seeing the good work they are doing in their different areas. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, and congratulations once again. Mama, SecGen. SecGen. This is a subtle reminder that all the pictures you snap, as long as you're going to put them online, please don't forget to use the hashtag Wayfarc 2024 and hashtag South. We need to track all of those pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, on this note, we are going to the second panel session, and it's going to be headed by our own DG, SecGen of the NABG, please. Our SecGen of the NABG, please celebrate Mrs. Olubukola Nwaneri as she takes the center stage for the next panel session. Please celebrate her. Put your hands together. Put your hands together.
Listen to music ad-free, offline, and in the background. Try YouTube Music Premium on us.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Good afternoon once again, and welcome to the section panel sessions. To answer your questions on agribusiness for women and youth for this session, I will be inviting Madam Precious Itolema. Is she in the house? Let them sit. She is an environmental scientist. And for me, that's a huge challenge for a woman to be an environmental scientist. Madam Precious, can we have you on board? Thank you. Please, a round of applause for her as she comes up. Also calling on Dr. Aniofio. I hope I'm not murdering your name, Madam. Dr. Eaton, please join us. She is a coordinator for the Bright Flow Foundation for Women and Children, apart from being a farmer. Thirdly, I'll call on Mrs. Kuku Odeng. Is she in the house? Please, you're welcome, madam. She's the CEO of Jodenke Naturals. So if you're looking for organic products, please talk to her. Last but not the least is Mrs. Stella Ifai. She's an agri enthusiast, and like we say, we are catching them young. Please, is she in the house? Mrs. Stella? Mrs. Stella Ifai? Is she in the house? Okay, looks like just 3 of us here. So, if you don't mind, ladies, this is a women's forum. So, if you don't mind, please, can you introduce yourselves?
Okay. All right. Greetings, everyone, once again. My name is Dr. Annie Iton. I am the president of Bright Flow Conglomerate and Device. Bright Flow Conglomerate is a collection of businesses. We cover the entire supply chain or value chain of businesses, from cultivation of agri products to processes, packaging, and getting it ready for the market. And we are also into logistics and supply chain management. We're also into education. We have a Bright Flow Institute, vocational institute, by which we conduct trainings for people that want to go into trade. So that is who we are. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mrs. Kuku Onenoden, and I'm the founder of Jodenke Naturals. Hello? Okay. Now, I call myself a nutrition enthusiast. After an extensive career in aviation, and then the COVID struck, I found myself back to my roots of agriculture. I was born and bred in Ogoja, Cross River State, a highly agri environment. And what I had in mind was to use agri products to produce products that are healthier and more nutritious against what is available in the form of drinks in the market. And so we started Jodenke Naturals with juices and smoothies and the likes. Along the line, we were looking for recipes that are more specific.
Let me just stop you there. We are going to go into the details, trust me.
Okay, so thank you.
Just introduce yourself and introductory level. Thank you. Madam Stella?
Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mrs. Imisiale Akbode Stella. I am a graduate of chemistry education. I'm a farmer. I'm an entrepreneur. I live in Delta State, Warri. I'm a member of Delta State Fish Farmers Association. I'm a vice chairman of Udu Poultry Association Delta State chapter. I'm a poultry farmer, I'm a catfish farmer, I'm an agro processor. I'm pleased to be here, and there's something I found interesting. Meeting people that make things work. So when Nigerians are complaining there's hunger in the land, I'm always seeing opportunities. Everywhere I go, I see opportunities, and it was really an opportunity for me to become a farmer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Precious Itolima Purity. I'm a lecturer at River State University. So I started with being an environmental scientist, and I was asking myself a whole lot of questions with what I found in the environment, farming, and everything. So also we're into processing of fruit juice, smoothing, and then cereals. I'm the national vice president of National Association of Bamboo Farmers, Processors, Market Association of Nigeria, and then this regional coordinator for women in export, trade, and investment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, please, before we continue, I just want us to watch briefly, just a minute or two. There will be a video that will play on our screens. Please, let's just pay attention to it. Thank you.
In Nigeria, women are the backbone of agriculture. In Nigeria, women are the backbone of agriculture. From the smallholder farmers in rural areas to the entrepreneurs. In Nigeria, women are the backbone of agriculture. From the smallholder farmers in rural areas to the entrepreneurs creating groundbreaking agribusiness ventures. While the journey hasn't been easy, these women are rising above the challenges, rewriting the narrative and leading a new wave of agribusiness transformation. For far too long, women have faced systematic barriers, limited access to land, capital, and resources. But these barriers are being shattered by women who refuse to be defined by the limitations placed upon them. Women like Salamatu Garba, founder of Wayfarc, are empowering rural women with tools, education, and opportunities that are changing the face of agriculture. Ada Osakwe, founder of AgroLay Ventures, is pioneering agribusiness investment, turning innovative ideas into sustainable businesses. In the rural communities of Nigeria, women and youth are the heartbeat of agriculture. Every day, they are out in the fields, planting, harvesting, and nurturing the crops that feed millions. Women contribute up to 80% of food production in developing countries, and yet they are often the most underrepresented at the highest levels of the agribusiness value chain. The same is true for our youth. Many no longer see agriculture as an attractive career path, driven by outdated perceptions of farming as labor-intensive and unprofitable. But nothing could be further from the truth. The future of Nigerian agriculture lies in the hands of women and youth. They represent the energy, creativity, and innovation needed to reshape the sector. With more than 60% of Nigeria's population under the age of 40 and women making up half of the country's population, the potential is enormous. From the village fields to the boardrooms, women and youth are ready to take agriculture to new heights. They are the future of agribusiness, innovating, inspiring, and ensuring a sustainable future for Nigeria.
This session is all about building an inclusive and sustainable agribusiness in Nigeria and beyond, if to say. So I'm going to start with you, Madam Stella, since you were the last on our, on our stage. As a representative of NASIMA, because I heard you talking earlier on about Edo State, right? What policies or initiatives are most crucial in promoting inclusive practices for women within agribusiness. You can relate it to what you do in Edo State, briefly.
Okay, sorry, I'm from Delta State.
Oh, sorry, Delta State.
When you come to the agribusiness in Delta State, I used to say so many women are really working hard to see agriculture work in Delta State. Like me, I decided to, that was 2020. I have a plot of land, and somebody introduced me to fishery, crop planting, and I key into it. The government policies then was not really effective to us because so many of us were not really opportuned to meet up with the government for the policies in the state. And we took it up from there. We are able to, last year, we got involved in the Poultry Association of Nigeria Delta State chapter. And the encouragement started from there, from 1 or 2 palliatives that was given last year, early this year. And so many women were not really involved. But for me, on my own, I see how I go out there and encourage women. Despite the policies might not really be effective to us, I will have to do 1 or 2 things and see opportunities to what is on and key in, which we are still working on to see how agriculture will really be effective in our area. Thank you, ma'am.
If I'm going to hold you to that, an organization like NASIMA should be bridging the gap for finance, especially. I don't want to generalize it. Let's pinpoint it down to female entrepreneurs.
Okay, ma'am, let me see.
But so how can NASIMA bridge that gap in agribusiness, especially when it comes to financing, access to training, market entry, and all that? There should be a gap that is being covered up.
At Chamber of Commerce, there was a trade group created, and that's my chairman, and I'm happy to be the Honorable Secretary for that trade group. And that is basically what we are working on, how we can key in, and presently we are working seriously on how it's going to be effective. And our decision is we're going to come in South-South for the women and men, youth, especially in South-South. Then from there, we're going to structure it to NASIMA. Because so many times, NASIMA is a national body, which will have region. So I am involved in the agric trade group in South-South. So like you say, you're going to hold me on, and I'm going to bring reports, positive results to you soon. Thank you.
I'll be expecting that, because right here, we are here to challenge each other on what is available, the opportunities we can channel into. So if we are holding ourselves up, we should be able to perform. Let me put it that way. You help me, I help you. Together we can go far. Thank you. I'll come back to you later. Mrs. Oden, thank you for coming. These days that we just open our mouth and put anything that goes. The question is no longer, do you have a choice about what you want to eat? It's a question of, are you hungry or you have eaten? Being a naturalist, let me coin it that way, that's a sector that's increasingly embracing organic and natural products. What steps are you taking to ensure the inclusivity within your workforce and the supply chain? It's a different matter to have the organic products. It's another matter to get it to the desired people, like the aged people, the sick people. We have a lot of diabetes running around these days and all that. What's your plan on that?
Thank you very much, ma'am. So Along the line of my business, I came across some nutritious crops that we have tried and we are still trying to domesticate very much within our state. One of that is the orange flesh sweet potato. Like you said, the problem now is there food to be eaten? But we can't just wait to say any food to be eaten. So what we are trying to do in my state and beyond is to popularize those nutritious foods which are good alternatives to what we already have, and we are encouraging households to farm them and include them in their diets, and in that way increase their nutrition. Now we also another thing that is happening in my state now that we are keen in very much into is the homestead gardening, as the government of Cross River State is working to embark on it. And one of those things to ensure that people feed well is to have these homestead gardens in every home. Thank you.
In having a homestead home to feed yourself organically, well, you can build the capacity into a commercial purpose. So what advice will you give to women who are aspiring to start sustainable business in the natural product and in the agribusiness sector? Because some people have the notion and opinion that growing organic products or commodity is expensive. Even buying it off the shelf is expensive. What advice do you have for them?
What I always ask people is it cheaper to go to the hospital or is it cheaper to eat organic? I think it's cheaper to eat organic. What people just get to understand more and more is that it's cheaper to eat organic than to try to manage a medical ailment. So the more people get to know that, and rightly at the moment there is increased awareness of organic feeding. So there is a whole market for it. And we know that many people are having this so-called diet-related diseases, and it's now the time for us to prevent them by what we eat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If I may add to what you just said, there is one particular organic product that people don't take enough of, and that is water. May
Yes.
God bless and rest the soul of my former mentor, Chief Ijewere, the late president of NABG. If you walked into his office and you look tired, he will ask you, what's wrong with you? You are tired. He will give you a bottle of water. And he won't talk to you until you are done drinking that bottle. If you have a headache, the first thing he will recommend is go and drink water. After 30 minutes, it doesn't subside, then you can take your paracetamol. People don't take enough water. You drink water constantly. Even if you have to go to the toilet, go. Go and ease yourself. That is number one natural organic food that we don't take enough of. On that note, Dr. Eaton, I'll come to you. For your organization, you work closely with communities. Please, ma'am, could you share specific initiatives you have implemented to empower women in rural agribusiness and how you measure their impact? Because I could hear you earlier on discussing with the commissioner about how you funded some training sessions, some developmental technical sessions, and all that single-handedly, please.
Thank you so much. And Bright Flow Foundation for Women and Children is a part of the collections of our programs, that we created to reach out to communities, not just the women, the youth, and everyone. And what we have done is that we discovered that what people really need at the moment is knowledge. So we created what we call platform for learning, so that you can learn, unlearn, and relearn. Because you can't keep doing the same thing and you expect a different result. the entire world now, keeps changing. People are bringing a lot of innovation. There are a lot of ideas. There are a lot of creativity on how to, go into agribusiness. And if you sit on the fence and still want to dwell on the old ideas of our grandparents' ideas, you might not be able to meet up. So what we have done as an organization is to create a platform by which we share knowledge and we also exchange innovation and also guide people on creativity, on how to cultivate agribusiness and also add value. Because value addition is what will sustain any farmer. If you just pick from the farm to the port or to the market, you might not be sustained at the long run. But if you pick from the farm and you have an idea on how to, process and make more food or food product out of it, that is how your business or as a farmer can be sustained. So what we do as a measure of community development is to create platforms for training and retraining of both farmers, agri-traders, and also people that are intending to go into business in order to also boost their own creativity. What we also do is to create a trade hub by which we call focused trade diversity, by which maybe you've already started cultivating large scale of products and you don't know what to do with them. You don't have market. We help you to look for market for you to sell or off-take your product. Thank you.
Thank you for doing justice to that question. But in doing that, I see you are a natural in teaching. Yes, so you do well as an educator. What role do you see education and mentorship? Because going into agribusiness, like one of the panelists said earlier, you need to be mentored. Exactly. You need to learn. So what role will mentorship be playing in supporting women to not only join agribusiness, but to thrive in it? Because this session is all about how do we include everybody to make agri work for women.
Mentorship, I am an advocate of mentorship programs. In fact, I am a mentor. I have husbands bring their wives and say, please help me mentor my wife. And I also have wives bring their husband, shockingly, to come and work under you to learn. I'm telling you. And what is lacking here is that people don't want to sit down to be mentored. They don't want to sit under a mentor, especially when you are a woman. They feel their ego, will be touched, or maybe they will be looked down on and all of that. But I want to tell you that if you are not ready to be mentored, you are bound to make mistakes. Why? Because nobody knows it all. As I'm sitting down here, I have people that I look up to as mentors as well. So we need mentors. You might know how to plant. You might not know how to handle your product, from your farm either to the market or to the consumption point. So you need someone to guide you on that regard. You might also know how to handle the product, but you might not know how to move those products. You need someone like us who are into logistics to help you maybe connect on how you can move your product from farm gate either to the factory or warehouses or to the market. So you need mentors, and you can't rule out mentoring in any business. Like the mentors, the apprenticeship ideas of the Igbos, you can see that even Harvard, they have adopted it because it is a wise idea. By which you bring in people and you start mentoring them from the grassroots and you see them grow with you. Inclusion means us growing together. In one of the women program, I remember that I made a statement as such that when we talk about inspiring inclusion as a woman, we are not asking you to go and compete with men. No. Please, if you are a woman in the house, rule out that idea of competition or contesting with your fellow man. You can inspire inclusion by, as the saying goes, that men are the breadwinners. Am I right? So while men are in the race to win bread, you can stay home to bake bread. That's what inclusion is all about. That's what inclusion is all about. And you need someone to mentor you on how to process that food from being raw to the finished goods of bread. Thank you.
Thank you very much for recognizing that women are the bread makers. That's good. And that brings us to you, Madam Precious, last but not the least. You particularly struck my interest. But I have a production that my only raw material is bamboo. So when bamboo farming is a challenge, I want to know how you do it. Bamboo farming is very unique in the agribusiness landscape. I hardly hear people farming it or being in care of it because it grows in the wild. Can you share how you have approached creating an inclusive environment for women, especially within this field of business?
Okay, so by the time it was a journey I'm an environmental scientist to start with. And then I was trying to test run a whole lot of things. So we do climate change, we do want to find out the trees that go around the area. So I was very indigenous, so marine biology. So what we do is we look at, I wanted to be doing research where students cannot go out there to make money out of it. So I started doing a lot of research. And it started with the water, first of all. So my journey of how I went to bamboo. So my first project was work on taste. Taste, we call it in my area, ungolo. You know that gastropods that people eat for native soup? Yeah, so I started doing this kind of research. And it was duplicating. And we didn't know how to conserve it. I had an interest on it. So by the time I started doing more research, I now moved on to oysters and the rest. So I started going to different communities in River State. And I found 1 or 2 women who are culturing it. And then we had a local government that was very close. And when we started talking, how do people want to culture this? And good enough, lucky enough. So I was talking to one of the speakers here, and I told them something like, and I learned that sometimes there's something wrong you going forth to ask questions. Go to those places and look at people and think, what can we do with this? Advocacy. And the local government looked at me and said, okay, Precious, when you're ready, I will take you there, I will give you a house, I will tell my CDC chairman and the rest to work with you. And that's how I started doing research for it. And before you know, the community, local government, they're doing a lot of culture on this. I will go back to that. So bamboo, we started with climate change, and we're looking at it. And bamboo is something that grows in the south very well, indigenous. And I looked at it, and we kept talking. At that point in time, while I was still looking at bamboo, I had people, you know, when you're thinking about something, you don't discover that there are a whole lot of persons that are into it. I get connected to someone in Agribusiness. And then bamboo was not a national commodity. So like 3 years back, or 4 years back, we started going to Abuja. We want to make bamboo a national commodity because you can't be working for something that is not officially known. So by the time you start doing business and you have craftsmen in the local government and women, how do you export that? What are you going to do with this? So we knew, look, this has to be a commodity first of all. So by the time we started working, we are traveling to Abuja. We are doing that on our own. 2 years back, I think one of our members is there from Agribusiness chapter of it. 2 years back, we were now made a commodity. And by that time, before we made a commodity, we've reached out to every part of the state, country, whoever is doing bamboo. We pulled them to the group and we started discussing what's the way forward. Right now, we are still new as a national commodity, but however, we are now dialoguing. We now reach out to people. Can we have more? So what I do in my school, because I'm in maritime, in marine science, I'm not actually in the plant or forestry. I have to go further. And I started begging the women in the department, lecturers, can you start doing research on this? Can we see what we can do with this? And we started going for community entry by ourselves. Nobody's funding us. Yet for now, we've not gotten any funding. So we started working. So what we now said, we look out for communities who have oil companies, and we start telling them, this is bamboo. You're looking for climate change. And then bamboo has a high rate of carbon absorption, carbon concentration. You know? And then we kept telling them, we are looking at flood. And I gave them an example. Go to where you plant bamboo or put bamboo. Look at that environment. You know, bamboo is very, very invasive. By the time you plant one, you will have like 5. And bamboo takes like 3 years to grow and mature. 4 years max, they've matured. By the time you come back, other bamboo are growing on it. So if you uproot that, you find that place became hollow. So what it does is that it keeps the soil intact. And that helps for flood control. And I'm just telling them, there's so many important. Now, in other countries, people eat bamboo shoots. And I was telling somebody, do you know, this bamboo we are talking about, we have close to like 1,500 species in the world. Do you understand? The only research we have about bamboo right now is the one that the people came from foreign, they had research. We don't have individual research. So we still have information. So I met somebody who now told me, there's a local government in my state that he found like 60 species. And I'm like, wow. So what now I'm doing, because I'm in the academic setting, I keep telling people who are in forestry, plant science, bamboo leaves is used for tea. Some of bamboo species, they're actually used as food, and they're very medicinal. There's some creams you rub, a whole lot of things that you use bamboo for. And then it's eco-friendly. And then when I keep telling people, the research says something. Bamboo, Nigeria, we have one of the strongest bamboo. If you notice, it keeps getting continuous. Meanwhile, I have my stage there, where I will have bamboo products. Please patronize my bamboo products. Thank you very much. So that was what we kept doing, and we kept pulling out. But however, right now, because it's a new thing we're doing, we are going for a whole lot of community entry, reaching out to communities, telling them, let's work with this. Can we now train youth, women into this? So that's the point where we are right now, but we're actually moving very fast.
That's a big challenge, really. And so much education. I just learned a lot from you, because I've always had this opinion that only Asians know how to use bamboo. They use their bamboo for everything you can think of. Yes, and it's actually promoting their economy and their environment. But as a woman entering this sector, because from the southwest where I come from, a woman cannot near a bamboo shoot farm, mostly dominated by the men who control the cutting, the sales, and all that. What are the challenges you have faced as a female leader in this sector? Because, and not just facing the challenges, you must tell us the strategies that you've adopted to overcome and support people in this sector.
Okay, so challenges. It wasn't really easy. Like in the national, I think we're just 2 in the position. So one of the challenges is that if you're in a male-dominated environment where you're doing position, that's their thing, right? You need to have an extra work research. You need to have an A game on this. You have to do a lot of researching. So when you're talking, or when you're doing other things, they will now know that, oh, we can do this, so you understand? And then with a whole lot of ideas. So for me, I didn't have that challenge much, because I have to start doing a whole lot of research. Then, because I worked in the NGO once, so I had a lot of the advocacy policy thing. I moved front for it, and I worked with it. So whenever they are going for advocacy, and they're like, okay, girl, madam, just go for one, make we talk, no say be human. So there's always this human factor when you're doing something and it's become friendly. So the other part is, how are we going to spread this now? You might just be the one to plant in nursery. Right now, we don't have a lot of nursery places where we can buy bamboo. So nursery is not something that can be a male or female to do it. You understand? So that's a value chain. Right now, the biggest plant farm of bamboo right now in Ghana is a woman, and her name is Marigold. They've done so far 10 hectares, 10,000 hectares, and they're buying, and they keep planting it. And it's the woman, this girl and her mother, and the whole family that's spearheading all this. So it's not something that looks as if it's actually male-dominated. You will create your... So if you can do craft, and some of the craft, they are actually women-friendly for you to do, you can go for the marketing. I like one of the speakers said something. Create your market. Look for something good. I know with women, we can sell. So men can actually do all these designs, but can they really sell when it comes to telling people eco-friendly product? Can you convincing? So we have to now tell ourselves, okay, if you can't do the nursery, why don't you go for the sales part of it? Why don't you look for people who are actually doing this work and tell them, okay, let me be your salesperson. Can we collaborate? So a whole lot of collaboration. These are things that we cannot do all by ourselves. If I say I want to be there to cut the thing, I can't cut it. I'll be in the class station. But however, you have to now know that this is all encompassing. There's somebody that have to do this, and there's somebody that have to do this. And then you collaborate, and it works very well. But for me, I feel if you start collaborating, even as a woman, you can actually achieve this much better. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we are really behind time. So I just want you for just a minute to give us a passing statement, starting with you, Madam Stella. And you can wrap your passing statement on how we can collaborate with different sectors. Just a closing shot from you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I think I get to know that so many people here don't know about Chamber of Commerce. Nigerian Association of Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, is organized private sector in Nigeria and all over. We are recognized private sectors. And we are in different states, 36 states of this country. Presently, South Chamber of Commerce, we are viable. We have agri-desks in every chamber, in every city chamber. Uyosima is one of us. We have Calabar Chamber of Commerce, we have Warri, we have Delta, just like that. And it's a place where we deal people with agric, industry, mines, commerce. It's a place to be. Joining Chamber of Commerce has really exposed me. We are networkers. We have opportunities to meet who is who in every aspect you want to. And having us now, the key thing in South, we're taking it as a challenge to hit on agriculture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Oden, please, in 1 minute, just to wrap up.
Thank you, ma'am.
What change would you like to see in agribusiness in Nigeria when it comes to women?
Thank you. In Nigeria right now, women drive the agribusiness. Women drive it, it's just that we are not that empowered. They drive it in smallholder nature. We like to see a situation where more women collaborate so that our effort, they say what one person can do, 10 or 2 people can do times 10 of that. I'd like to see women collaborating together to achieve more, and then let the policies also be in favor of women. One of them, land acquisition, should be in favor of women. And with this, I see where women agribusinesses will be very, very viable. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Iton, using enlightenment and education, how do you overcome challenges in agriculture? In just 1 minute to wrap up.
Like I said, you have to be ready to learn, unlearn and relearn, so that the challenges, the bottleneck, you can be taught on how to manage them or to mitigate them. You can, through any channels, any platform, be open to learning. Talk to someone about whatever you are in doubt of before you can engage or go into any business of agriculture. Don't start without gaining knowledge. That's what I will say.
Thank you, ma'am. And to you, Madam Precious, please, in one word, how do you encourage women to come into bamboo farming and join your association?
Okay, so maybe I'm going to say in a more elaborate, collaborative thing. For the farming, if we actually look at the community, we're talking about sustainability, inclusive agric farming. And it means that at every point in time, if we actually make statistics from the local farmers in our communities, the ones that are actually home subs, they are actually majorly women doing all this. And a whole lot of them are not into a whole lot of this. Maybe they don't have financial backup. They don't have people that support them in their business. So an opportunity for me, like right now, I have an issue in the local government where people are culturing seafoods. I was showing one of my colleagues a picture, and I told her, you have land on land. We have land in water. And where these women are doing this culturing, one woman has like 10 plots, 20 plots in the water. And people ask me how. I said, do you know the periwinkle you eat is being cultured by these women? The oyster you eat right now is being cultured by community women. And you find out that there is no man in that kind of value chain. So my question was, how am I going to bring these people? How am I going to collaborate with this? Because if you're saying you want to source inclusive, it means you have to have a sustainability plan for all this. And one of the things is to follow these women when they're the little ones they are doing. How can I encourage them? How can we reach out to them? How can we empower them? But at the end of the day, the major farmers are really women out there in the community looking for what to do with their family. I know some of those women, I now ask them. So one of the experiences I had was, I was there in the farms. I used to go to the farms and I asked them a question. I discovered at every point in time they are in the water or doing something. I want to use maybe not really bamboo, because right now a whole lot of women are not planting it. So what these women do is that when they're in the water, when the water ebbs, you now see this land all over. I think they were just water. Meanwhile, on top of it has been cut short by these women. They come like 3 times a week to look at it, the way you go and weed your land. So what these women do is, they came picking up some part of this. The same, I didn't know they were different species. And I kept asking them, why are you picking up this kind of species of periwinkle and this? And I said, Madam, if I keep this thing here 3 days time, if they one thing where they enter this periwinkle, once they enter them, this one feel hold all the disease finish. Before you know, the better ones, they don't die finish. So that was when it dawned on me that this particular species of this particular periwinkle that is very vulnerable to disease, we don't have a research about it. So that became a concern. So if I don't remove them, it will affect this one where they big. So I get to remove all those things, the same species of thing. And I was like, wow. So it means in this thing, we still have some species that are very vulnerable. We don't have a solution about it. And then I asked them, okay, so if you want to make this thing in large quantity, because everywhere is occupied by these women doing this, the land is not enough, which is land in the water. And I asked them, so if you want to make this business more money, what will you do? He said, if you go get species will be saying, instead of saying to take 7 months, maybe they 4 months, it means somehow we have to modify that product. So for us is how to include them, hear from them, and also boost them in what they are doing. It will go a long way.
Thank you. Education. I've actually learned a lot today that I've never heard of before, that you can actually culture periwinkle. If I may take 1 or 2 questions from the audience, 1 male, 1 female. I can see 2 hands up already. What is happening? Our youths are in this room, and I was expecting to see several hands up asking questions. Can we get your question, sir? Yes.
Even if the youths are not speaking, the youth coordinator can speak for the youths. Thank you very much. I must say that I enjoyed this discussion. Because sometimes when we talk about gender transformation, we just feel it's about women fighting the men. That is an error. Complete error. It can't work. Gender is about trying to know the roles of men and women, youth in the society. And Madam put it very well. If the men are winning the bread, let the baking job be done by the women. Very excellent. Madam, this is what I want to say. To patent the work you are doing. Before people pounce on it and make it look like pounce on it.